Hello YouTube, I'm Salva talking, and this is the English version of the video I just made. So this is the complete Master Rule 5, Master Rule revision, or whatever you want to name it. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 new types of rules in Master Rule 5 in OCG only for now. The first one is that if a monster that activates its the activation of monsters that are returned to the deck or the extra deck face down. Unless it specifies referencing the text, monsters that are returned to the deck and the extra deck face down cannot activate their effects. This includes mandatory effects. For example, Elemental Hero Absolute Zero if it's returned to the extra deck face down, it cannot activate its effect. But before you can. This only applies to OCG, and all these rules also only applies in OCG for now. So I said earlier, previously if you compulsory Elemental Hero Absolute Zero will activate its effect since he leaves the field. But now, with this new rule, if Elemental Hero Absolute Zero is returned to the extra deck by compulsory, its effect of destroy all monsters your opponent controls will not activate. So that means that literally compulsory can negate. Compulsory negate extra deck monsters that has some floating effects. I don't know. The second one is in the card text, card the reference to their effects activation requirements as well as their effects activation location. For example, if it's activate the effect when the monster itself is normal summon, for example Armageddon Knight, it activates or Elemental Hero Stratos, that effects on the field. If it's a tracker whose effect is activated, if it is a tracker whose effect is activated, if it is sent to the graveyard, it activates in the graveyard. So for example, if you summon Stratos and they use Trap Hole, the activation of the effect of Stratos will be in the graveyard. If a card moves location from its activation location to a different location, 3 times location, before its effect activates, its effects cannot be activated, including mandatory effects. For example, this is another one example. If you use Sangan and tribute it for Crush Card Virus, and the opponent changes Diddy Grow to your Sangan and banish it, before Sangan will continue to activate its effect, it will resolve, and the whole chain will resolve properly. Now, if you Diddy Grow Sangan does not activate its effect after the chain is done resolving. So that means Diddy Grow now will be a perfect side deck against both Abyss. For example, because if activates its effects in the graveyard, chain Diddy Grow, banish that Burning Abyss, since it's no longer in the graveyard, this effect will not be activated. For example, Grafar and Seer, 2 monsters that special summon monsters. It will not activate. You don't need now to Diddy Grow the target. I don't know who was Grafar or Seer that special summons from the graveyard or add back to the hand, but now just banishing Seer, it's negate. Well, not negate. It will not resolve. It will fizzle. Now, this one is the only one I don't understand. Some cards will have text such as during the turn you activate this effect, you cannot special summon monsters except blank monsters. Or during the turn you activate this card, you cannot special summon monsters except with this has effects. Have activation requirements for whether or not you summon certain monsters during the turn. Card with this text will now check whether or not the summon or the monster described in the text was successful for the activation requirements. For example, the old way the old one, the old way. If you cannot activate, well, let's see what card is first. I don't know. Rage with size of blue. During the turn you normal summon. During the turn, the normal summon of your maiden was negated. The way to get out of blue card says in the left part, you cannot normal special summon monsters the turn you activate this card. Since you normal summon regularly, you cannot activate it. But since now, since the summon was negated with Solemn Judgment, I don't know if you can hear me, but since the activation was, the summon was negated, you can now activate. So for example, if you special summon a monster and the summon was negated, you can perfectly activate now Pot of Duality, because no monster was special summoned. If I understand these rules, if you special summon a monster and the summon was negated, you can now activate Pot of Duality. So nice. By the way, I have a nice deck profile trying to make, but I hope you will like it in the future, not now. The next rule is regarding this one is kinda my favorite one. If not, sometimes there are monsters that says you can only summon this monster once per turn. If the summon is negated, usually you cannot try to summon it again or revive it. Now you can. If, for example, High Speed with Chambara, the summon was negated by Judgment, before you cannot try to synchro summon it again or even revive it. Now you can try to synchro summon it again or revive it. So very nice. The last one is the continuous sub card. I usually say this card. The rule is if a continuous sub card that has in the text, this card is also treated as trap card. Before, when you summon that trap card monster, the song it was that trap card was unusable. And now you can still use it. Yeah. So I don't know how this ruling will work, because the song before it was a ruling that if, for example, your Book of Moon, one of these monsters, it will set face down in the same zone. And since the sun was blocked, you have to know which zone was, because now the zones are really important. Yep. So does this mean? I think this means that. Okay, so you summon a trap card monster, for example, Embodiment of Apocalypse. The sun it was before was blocked. Now it is completely free. You can use another trap card or spell card there. I don't know if the ruling with the face down trap card monster will still work, but since this is OCG only for now, so well. I hope you like the video. Thumbs up, subscribe, the bell, and that's all. Goodbye.